Hey, y'all. Oh. Hey, y'all. I can't sing. I always wish I could, but I can't. So I hope you guys really remember that song. I think it was Outkast from way back in the day. Shake it fast like a Polaroid picture. Love it. Okay, so today we are talking about to cut or not to cut and how to communicate with your stylist. So, hey, Maggie, hi. Nice to see you. Okay, Maggie's one of my old clients. I just saw she's on. Okay, so we're talking about how to communicate with your stylist so that you can achieve the look that you want. So it's haircut time. Woo! We figured everybody was going to their stylist to get ready for Christmas because Christmas is creeping in. I can't believe it. I saw this counter the other day on Facebook and it said how many days there are till Christmas. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I do not have any presents for my family yet and I need to get shopping. So everybody, this is your wake up in case you didn't see that counter. So we're gonna talk about, so you guys can comment and tell me how many days there are till Christmas. And then everybody else can see it so that if you guys needed to wake up like I did yesterday, you got it. So you guys are commenting for these awesome zip time bags. Woo! Okay, these are awesome. When you don't get caught traveling through the airport with kitchen bags again, you can look stylish. So we will be giving away zip time bags for comments today, and we will also, of course, be giving away the iron I used today. So make sure you comment. And to all the people that were saying not nice stuff, I want to say it's cool to be kind. So we reward good comments, everybody. That's my theme of the day. It's cool to be kind. So I wanted to thank, can you scroll down for me all the way to the bottom? Because there are 3 girls that stood up for me yesterday on the comments, and I just want to say thank you. So a shout out to Stephanie Walters, Katie Pack, and Lynette Faber Odo. I'm so sorry if I didn't do a good job on your name, but I want to say thank you guys. I was reading the comments and some of them were brutal for me, and I really appreciate you guys sticking up for me. So thank you. Okay, so let's get into what we're talking about. We are going to be cutting hair today. Not with these kind of shears. This was a joke for those of you who were concerned that I was cutting over my fingers and stuff. I know better. I will be using my official haircutting shears. So I will talk about that in a little bit. Don't want to cut with these. Do you guys ever try like when you were little to cut through like 70 sheets of paper and how it got all jacked up? That's how that one girl like did the bangs, but we'll talk more about that when we get into that, okay? So let's talk about different communication styles with your stylist. So one time I had this client come in and she said, I want 2 layers. And I was like, 2 layers? I can't give you 2 layers. 2 layers is a bad haircut. We can't do that. What I think she was trying to say to me was, I want like extreme disconnect layers so that you can see like when they're up higher and more volume. This is back in the day when like really layered hair was in. So anyway, so she asked for that, and what she was asking for was a disconnect and extreme layers. You will hopefully understand what I'm talking about by the end of this today. That is my goal, so that you can know if you want extreme disconnected layers or not. Okay, so for you to know what disconnected layers are, I need to show you what blended layers are. Okay, so blended layers are when hair starts up here or anywhere in between, and then it goes down and blends out, okay? And I'm gonna show you what I mean. So your layers can start up here, they can start here, they can start here. So more layers means you have them higher, less layers means you have them lower, okay? So you know if you want higher or lower. And then I will explain to you some of the benefits of having lower versus higher and things like that. Okay, so layering can be done in many ways. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the face frame. Okay, so that is what a blended layer looks like. Okay, so it just has layers just ending, but it's kind of seamless. So when you have it back here, it's more seamless looking, okay? So that is what blended layers are. When you cut them right here, this means face frame, okay? So if you have like long hair and it's kind of dragging you down, then you can blend them up and you can have face frame, and that will really help pick it up if you feel like your hair is dragging you down. So recently I have really felt like my hair was dragging me down. I went and got highlights yesterday. So it's better, it's helping me, but I wanted to show you guys kind of what you can do to help if that's dragging you down. And I will be cutting bangs in a little bit. We'll work on that in a little bit. I feel like I have so many shadows today. I'm sorry, I couldn't get the lighting right. I don't know what my problem is today. We're just having trouble. Okay, so how do we pick ourselves up when we feel like our hair is dragging us down? So there's a couple of ways to do that. You can do it with color placement. So if your color is getting like long or grown out, you see that it can get down here, and then your color where it starts like lightening, that's where you draw your eye, okay? So the like lightest part, okay? So watch what happens when I flip my hair. You can bring it up higher, up to the face frame. Do you see how like these colors then bring your eyesight to here, okay? So what you want to do is try and work on a style that helps bring someone's eye either in a circle so that it just kind of floats around your beautiful face, or you can, you know, do color placement here that will help bring the eye up, because most people's best feature is around their eyes and not so much like in this area. So when things start coming down here, whether it's your cut has a lot of weight out here or your color has come down, then you want some bright pieces that will pick it up and bring your eye back up to the top. Or you can have it where the weight comes up here, which will show you when you get more into the bang, in bangs or fringe, whichever one. Fringe is a technical term for bangs. And I think it partially started because in Europe, a bang is not an appropriate word for something. So we'll just stay away from that, but you guys can infer that on your own. So good luck with that. Ching. Okay, that's what we do whenever we wink around here. We go ching. I hope you guys enjoy that. It's fun. You can have it. Okay, so there's different ways to ask for things up around your eyes. You can do baby lights up here, or you can have Ombre or Sombre, and those are when your color drops like this and it comes down here. So an Ombre is a more distinct variation, and a Sombre is a subtle ombre, okay? So it's a sombre. So that means that you have a more subtle variation in the color, and an ombre has a bigger distinction in the color. Perfect. So lots of ways to draw your eye up. Okay, so let's talk about, I think we did all that, didn't we? Is there anything I'm missing there? I had a list today because I'm a very artistic person, so for me to stay structured, I need a list. So if you see me over here, I'm referencing my list today. Usually I just wing it most of the time. Okay, so let's talk about shears. This is a kitchen shears or a crafting shears. This is a cutting shears. So the difference between these is they're really a lot thinner, so it doesn't push as much hair out of the way. They're sharper, lots of different things. So for that poor girl that I know we all saw that was doing this thing, okay, she should not use these. Okay, so let's talk about how to get the bang you want. Oh, that is funny. Oh, if I was live in the UK right now, they would be really laughing at that. Okay, so how to get the fringe or bangs that you want. Okay, so there is a place, so I'm gonna place the comb right here, okay? Anything below here is the natural fall of the head, okay? That means that's where a good starting point for cutting bangs comes from, okay? So you can start from the natural fall of the head. Now, this is what's important. Okay, so what's important about the natural fall of the head? I want you to see how much hair comes from the natural fall of my head, okay? So this is a lot. So when I cut bangs, if I don't want that natural fall of the head to be falling over, can you mute that please? We have people in the company pinging right now, so Gabe, can you stop? You're disrupting my train of thought here. Okay, so we have, so when you have more bangs right here, okay, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Okay, so when you start from the back here, way far back here, then you have more hair coming through. So when you have too much hair falling through here, it can be too heavy, right? So you'll get a really heavy bang if you cut all of that for me. So what I have to do is I have to section less hair than the natural fall of my head, which is where you really want it. Because see, what'll happen is if I cut bangs here, this will fall forward over the bangs and it'll be kind of a disruptive piece. So if you don't have a lot that you're dealing with there, then you know, then you will have to, oh my gosh, I keep losing my train of thought today. Okay, I'm so sorry, everybody. Okay, so if you have this piece falling over it, then you can ask your stylist to please fix that for you, you know, because that piece is always falling because it's on the fall of your head. But just make sure you're aware of how thick that is or isn't and how it will work for you. Another thing you'll want to consider is how much of a forehead you have. I have a small forehead, so for me to have a heavy bang on a small forehead is really kind of daunting. It makes me look like I have a wig on. So be aware of how much hair is falling from here, and then the size of your forehead, and then also your hairline will play into that, okay? So make sure you're aware of what hairlines work really well for it, and then one day we'll talk about cowlicks and all that stuff when we talk about blow drying, okay? So here comes the important part. Okay, so I'm going to choose the hair that I want to cut, and I'm going to do like a longer section of bangs, everybody. I don't think I'm gonna go short because of the reason I just said. If anyone can repeat why I'm not cutting bangs, that is because my forehead is too small and I'll look like I have a wig on. I've done it before. I went straight across bangs and I can kind of do it. Before I do all of this, I want to show you guys a couple of things that, cutting techniques that help remove weight from your hair, okay? So I want you to watch what happens to this hair. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to remove bulk or weight and then what that does, okay? What that entails and what it does for your hair. So here I'm going to cut about from here down off. So I'm going to use this as a demonstration for you. So when your hairstylist comes in and does a slide cut like this, okay, that is removing weight. So they can do that all throughout here. And all these techniques are very useful. So slide cutting is very useful. I just want you to know what it does. So if I do slide cutting here, right? So that's what they usually do in through here. Okay, so I'm slide cutting all of this. And what that does is it makes it thinner. You can see the thickness up here and how it's getting thinner down here, okay? The other thing they do is they do point cutting. So point cutting they can do down here just to make the ends more wispy, okay? Or they can do point cutting up deeper, and what that does is it removes bulk, okay? So the more straight up and down their shears are, the less bulk they remove. The more angled their shears are, the more bulk they remove, okay? So I'm gonna show you when you angle your shears, how much you can remove, okay? So do you see how just angling it like that, see how thin this side's getting? Okay, so now we've taught slide cutting, we've taught point cutting, okay? So point cutting across the fringe or the ends, or point cutting up deeper into the hair, okay? So that's what point cutting is. Then we have texturizing shears. Let me get my texturizing, handy dandy texturizing shears out. Okay, texturizing shears look like this. There's many different variations. They come in like thicker teeth, wider teeth, all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna show you what those do. So those come in and you can cut that. Now I'm gonna remove the hair that removed. And you can see how this just keeps getting thinner and thinner, right? So if they came in at an angle and cut this a couple of times, now look how thin my hair is. So from doing all those different techniques, see how thin this is? Now this comes in really handy when you're trying to layer your hair, okay? Because there's many, many, many different ways to achieve layers. So I want you to hang on to this visual about how thin this is compared to where I didn't cut, okay? So you see how thick this is and you see how thin this is now. Let me see if I can get you a background. Can you see it like that? Okay, so anyway, this is much more thin because I've done all those removing bulk kind of cutting things. Okay, so I'm going to show you my favorite way to trim my bangs. I'm gonna do a long bang to start, and then I will shorten it later. So I'm just gonna point cut in. So I have taken my hair from Oh, I almost dropped my shears. Okay, so I have taken my hair and I've over directed these pieces. When these pieces are over directed, what they do is it creates length. So this middle piece is the shortest piece, and this piece is over directed into the middle, which makes it longer, which in essence gives me kind of a U shape when I spread it all out, okay? So do you see, I look like that puppy on that show. Do you remember that show where he's like, hi Ralph, hi Sam? That's what I feel like right now. Okay, it looks a little crazy. Okay, so when you have that, I don't know if I want to go a little shorter. Let me see how it looks. So I'm just going to debate with you guys online and see if I want more or not. Oh, I kind of like where that's hanging. What do we think? I think that's a pretty good length. I like it. Oh, are those big smiley faces? They look happy. All right. Hey, Lynette is on. Thank you for standing up for me. It's so cool to be kind. That's my theme for today. Hi, Lynette. I saw your comment. Okay, so thank you for standing up for me yesterday. I'm so appreciative of that. Okay, so everybody, I'm going to show you how to style bangs real quick with the iron so that you can see what to do so that this looks good. Okay, so I look a little mullety right now. I'm going to have to blend out with my layers, people. Okay, so we will do that in a little bit. I'm not used to cutting hair in my lap. It's really funny. Okay, so when you're going to cut, or when you're going to style your bangs, has anybody seen this iron? It's TYME Iron. What's up? Hope you enjoy styling your bangs with it. Okay, so here's what we do. You can go in and you can use the flat iron side. Now, when you use the flat iron side, people, please, please, please do not turn this up to your face. Make sure you keep it up to your hair. Just rotate in, and then you can create a swoop like that, okay? So you can create some bounce like that. I don't love that swoop. Let's try a little bit turning it out the other way. So you can give a little bit of a kick out like that so that it doesn't look so, you know, like, what is this word I'm looking for? Blunt. Okay, so we want to have like a more softness to it. So I'm going to just go in, and you can just go in and put a little bit of bend in it so it softens it. And it takes a second to, you know, get used to styling your bangs once you've cut them into a new shape. So you just have to work with it a little bit. So don't get frustrated. You just got to work with it a little bit and figure out how you want them to sit. Okay, I like that. I think that's good. So you can see how this like picks up from everything being way down here. And I'll blend this all out so that I don't look like an 80s mullet. Hey, we should have a question. Should we ask a question about that? Which movie had like the most awesome 80s mullet ever? Do you know? Do you know? I hope everybody knows. I hope my team is okay with it. It's a 3-letter word. The guy's name is a 3-letter word, the first name. So hopefully you guys can figure it out. I'm sure my team can put that together for sure. Okay, so do we have any winners yet that I can announce?
We do.
Okay.
Stephanie Timish.
Okay, Stephanie Timish.
And Heather Clark McCoy.
And Heather Clark McCoy. Okay, so congratulations. We got some awesome zip times. Okay, so if you had straight across shorter bangs, I'm going to show you what you can do with that. Do you see how those want to fall in because of the fall of my head? Remember that I was talking about earlier? That's how I have to separate them out. But I'm not going thicker. I'm not wearing a wig today, guys. That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay, so when you just want to bump out some bangs, you can just barely roll it out. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm doing the opposite thing of what I usually teach. Usually I'm teaching to room your motorcycle, go back like this. And this time I want you to roll over. What's a good term that we could use for this? Roll over. Yeah.
Backwards room.
Yeah, backwards room. So roll over. So that's how, if your bangs were shorter and you wanted them to sit like that, that's what I would recommend to do. Just roll it a little bit and it creates a nice bend. Okay. So now I'm going to blend into this hair so that I don't have just a mullet. I kind of look like I have a 80s rocker t-shirt on with a mullet. Like, this is awesome. I'm going for the good look today. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and blend this out with that slide cutting technique I was talking about earlier. So I think this is a really good take on like a modern shag, because I think those are really in. Have you guys been seeing all these awesome modern shags that are coming in? They're so pretty and they create like a lot of fullness in your cut, and I just love it. So I think those are great. So this is a little bit more of a tricky angle for me, especially without a mirror and in a camera. So If I look like that one girl later, we all know why, because I'm not cutting in a mirror. Okay, so that's great. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna have to learn to tailor this a little bit, but I'll do that in a little bit. Okay, good. I'm liking this. Okay, so now let's talk about how to get the layers to fit in with what you're doing, okay? So I do this little tricky thing that I made up because I was loving everybody's like extension look and how their hair looked so good and so full because they had shorter hair, and then they would have extensions underneath that would fill out the length, and that was really cool to me. So I love that. So what I would do is I would take little pieces and I would just cut into it a little bit. And this is my little fake extension layer, okay? So I always put these in because it fills out up here. Now remember, I did say I'm helping you with this so you can communicate to your stylist. I'm not recommending that you guys go in and try this, okay, everybody? Because this is, I am trained. So here's what we do. So I just go in and I do this little fake extension layer. So now this is disconnected from this, okay? So that's what a disconnect layer is. Now disconnected layers can come in many forms. They can bring your hair up and cut it here, and that can be a disconnected layer, or they can cut it in place and still create a disconnected layer, okay? So you guys have to know what a disconnected layer is, right? So it's not gonna blend together like that face frame piece I showed you. The face frame piece blends together, and blended layers all go together in like really smooth steps. And a disconnect is like way up here and way down, and they can be closer together, but they're still disconnected. I think it's like 3 inches that creates the real disconnect in a technical term. Okay, so let's talk about, I love the hair in my lipstick, it's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about a dusting cut. So there's many reasons that people have, you know, like not super smooth hair going all the way down. It can be like something to do with chemicals, it can do something with heat, it can be just split ends that are happening and we don't really know why. But when you have that, there's a thing called a dusting cut, okay? So I'm gonna show you what a dusting cut can look like. So can you guys see those little hairs poking up right there? So these little hairs are going to be what causes like a not smooth look on your hair. And you can go through there and you can cut these off. So you can ask your stylist to give you a dusting cut if you have something that isn't as smooth as you want it to be coming down here, right? See how that looks smooth? It's because I did an awesome dusting cut right there. So this is what a dusting cut is. The pieces come up and through, and then you cut off all the ones that look squiggly. So the squiggly ones mean that they're damaged or whatever, and hair does not repair itself. So once those squigglies are there, they're probably not going away. So that's how you can get rid of them without taking your length, okay? So if you have length that you want to keep, but you still want it to be smooth, that's how you do it. You get rid of it with a dusting cut. That's a good way to do it. Okay, so when people cut in and point cut, I'm going to teach you a couple of things. When they point cut up here, it causes collapse. This looks very dangerous. I promise I know how to do it. Okay, so in the first inch, it causes collapse, and then all the way through here removes bulk, and then down at the ends is what causes wispy ends. So point cutting in like that, you can point cut up here to cause collapse, which means you want it to come in, right? You want it to be not as bulky. This removes weight, and then the wispy ends, okay? And my ends are going to get trimmed after this. I'm gonna make it all blend together after I get off with you guys so that I can make sure I'm cutting it in a mirror and looking really good together. Okay, so if you're looking to grow your hair out, a grow out cut, I recommend about 8 weeks between your cuts, okay? So if you can go 8 weeks, you'll have a better chance of growing your hair out because your hair grows between 1/4 to 1/2 inch a month. So you can imagine how it will stack up over the years. So you can imagine how long hair is on your head to get like this long, right? So so 8 weeks is what I recommend for a grow out cut. Do we have any questions that people are asking that we need to answer?
Yeah, we have a few.
Okay.
So, are you a hairstylist? I think we covered that already.
Yes, I am. You can tell by my nifty shears. I think they look like a torture chamber because I have the extra grips.
And then, what can you do, or do you change your part a lot?
Oh, yes. I'm obsessed with changing my part. I think it does a lot for you because I actually had a client that hadn't changed her part in 30 years or something. And she was like, oh, you can change your part? I'm like, yes, you can change your part every day if you want to. So all you have to do to change your part is comb it or dry it different. And then you can change your part. So some cuts are cut for your part, and if you change your part quite often, you can ask your stylist to do a center part so that it can flip to either side. So make sure you're aware of that, because sometimes you're like one side will look funny and it's because they cut it to that side as opposed to cutting it on center. So cutting on center will help, and yes, I am a stylist. so did we answer all that? Okay.
And then I think a good tip about this person is asking what you can do for greasy hair, like allowing your scalp to kind of...
Oh yeah. Okay, so there's a bunch of different things that can help you with greasy hair. Some of it's changing up your shampoo, some of it's changing up your routine, and what else can... another thing you might want to do is try extending between shampoos. It takes your scalp like a month to adjust when you're trying to adjust your shampoo times, right? So when you want to lengthen your time between shampoos, you have to give it a little time for your scalp to adjust because it's always wanting to produce oils to nurture your hair. That's what your scalp does. And when it gets used to you shampooing every day, it tries to produce enough to replenish that. So if you extend between, it will start extending how much it produces, or lowering how much it produces to try and coat the hair. Okay.
And then what products do you use to keep your hair from drying out?
What products do I use? I use our TYME line that I've been working on for the last almost, 2 years almost? I think it's almost 2 years. So I've been using for 2 years our TYME shampoo and conditioner, which are going to be called Pre-Game and Show Off, because your hair shows off. It's amazing results. So... oh, I'm really liking the bangs. What do we think? Everybody was panicking on there. They were like, no, don't. It was so funny. I was cracking up. But I like how this is looking. It's really giving me the pick-me-up I was looking for. Okay. Oh my gosh. I have a funny, real quick story. My friend Melissa was walking through Chicago yesterday, and she said she was walking down the street and these two girls were like, oh, it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but it's really worth it. And she turns around and she goes, what are you guys talking about? They said, the TYME Iron. And I guess she freaked out about it. So whoever those two girls were in Chicago, we know everybody in Chicago is awesome. They said to tell me everybody in Chicago is nice, and I believe you. Thank you for making Melissa's day. She was very excited about that. So yay, girls in Chicago, walking down the street talking about the TYME Iron. Woo woo. I'd give you a hat if I could find you. So if you're on, message me. Okay.
And we would like to know if there are any styles or anything that people are having trouble achieving that we can help them with in the future.
Okay, yes. Everybody, we are looking for things that you're looking for. So things that we can help you achieve in the future. Please send us messages and comments and let us know what you're looking for.
And we have the rest of the winners.
And we have the rest of the winners. Who's ready? Who's ready? Who wants to win a TYME Iron? Anybody? Anybody?
Okay, so we have 2 zip time winners first.
Okay, 2 zip time winners first.
Lynette Faber.
Oh, Lynette Faber Auto. Guess what? It's cool to be kind. Woo!
Christy Gage.
Christy Gage. And Christy Gage, good job. Welcome to the TYME team, ladies. Okay, and then the Iron winner. Can I do the drum roll? Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Lisa Garza.
Lisa Garza. You are the lucky TYME winner.
And
okay.
Joe Dirt.
Oh, and Joe Dirt. Yes, yes. Hey, and how many days till Christmas? Does anybody know? Did they say?
Yes.
What do we have?
37.
37 days till Christmas. Oh, it's like a month and a week. It gives me such a heart attack thinking about all the presents I need to find. Okay, so anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next week. Oh, next week, big day, Black Friday. Isn't it?
Yes.
Black Friday? Ooh, big day, big day. Please join us. You might be happy you did.